I'm scared of trying, I'm scared it might end. I hate the feeling when you're out of love. In love, in love, in love. When you're out of love. In love, in love, in love. I just hope you feel what I feel.
Welcome to Give and Go. I'm co-host Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
Mexico gets grouped. F's in the chat. I don't fucking know. Let me know what you think, man. Let me know what you think about this game. Mexico gets grouped, bro. Mexico gets grouped. They're knocked out of this tournament. Copa America run ends here. We don't even get to the quarterfinals. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Today's a really interesting day because I just feel disappointed. Not so much that we got outplayed today because I don't think that happened. And if anything, I'm not that angry at this Mexican performance. I don't know, man. I'm a little sad because, I don't know. It felt like it was there. It was there to be taken, and we just couldn't get that final finish on it because that's been our problem for years now. We cannot finish a shot. We cannot finish these opportunities. The way we create havoc is incredible, but we just can't finish. And so the fact that I already kind of knew that going into this game, I think is why this doesn't hurt as much. I think what annoys me the most, though, if I'm being real honest with you, if I'm just being, if I'm being the Mexican fan the way I am, I'm kind of pissed at Ecuador, bro. This Ecuadorian performance was shameful, man. Shameful. I was happy to lose to the Venezuelans. I was happy because they earned that 1-0 victory. They earned it, bro. They actually posed a threat offensively. Yeah. What I saw from Ecuador today, bro, the flopping, I saw it. They flopped more than a dying fish. The time they spent on the floor, and then what they did with the ball when they were on the counter, I thought was shameful, bro. Shameful from the Ecuadorians, and I don't see how any Ecuadorian fan could be excited about their team right now given how they performed so far. Congratulations. You got the result. You drew 0-0 against Mexico. Congratulations. But I don't know, man. I'm just disappointed in this performance. I'm disappointed that this is the way we go out. And as always, it's the same thing. I'm not going to repeat myself here because I've just been saying the same thing for years now on this podcast. Mexico needs changes, and I think it starts with Jimmy Lozano leaving and a new coach coming in.
Yeah. I mean, just quick analysis of the game. There's no real surprise here. We actually, I think, predicted this would end in a draw, and that's exactly what happened. 0-0 makes, I think, complete sense because, as you already mentioned, Ecuador don't look good. They don't look good at all. The way that we previewed this team, I think the way that most pundits thought that Ecuador would look like in this tournament is not what they're looking like, because they were so poor in transition. The only good thing about this Ecuador side is their defense, right? Torres, Pacho, and Hincapié did show up today, and without, some really big moments from Torres and Pacho, Mexico would have scored. I really do believe that. So Ecuador get through deservingly so because of that defense, but they are about to get ran by Argentina because their midfield and their offense is trash right now. Dude. It's just not working. So I will say that about Ecuador. I completely agree. And also considering Ecuador just needed a draw and they were going for 0-0. Yeah, bro. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Go get the goal because then you need Mexico to score 2 on you. One is always risky. One is way too risky. So I'm very disappointed in Ecuador as well.
Yeah, no, I agree though. The defense, Felix Torres and Pacho, incredible. Those guys are ballers.
They're incredible.
Those guys are ballers. And I'm just a little disappointed from Ecuador's perspective because I just feel like they have the quality to go and score goals on Mexico. They're not Costa Rica out here, bro. Right. They're not Bolivia. They don't got to park the bus completely and flop their way to a victory. That's my frustrating part from a fan point of view. But looking at Mexico specifically, let's talk, folks. Let's hit the main topics. First off, the referee. What did you guys think about the reffing in this game? Because the referee was definitely active in this match. But ultimately, also one of the reasons why I don't feel that frustrated with this team is because I thought the refereeing was pretty fair at the end of the day. Yeah. That last call, that was a penalty, and then it got reversed, bro. I was so glad they didn't call that, low-key, because I didn't want to win like that, bro. That was clearly a clean tackle by, I believe it was Torres. And the rest of the calls, there were 2 handballs, but I just didn't think they were the classic handball penalties that we've seen called at this tournament, so I understood why they didn't get called. I didn't have that many issues with the ref personally, but he definitely was a big part of this game.
Yeah, I actually agree. For me, the only thing the ref could have done better was be more assertive in dishing out yellow cards and trying to remove the chippiness of this game because, for large portions of this match, it really was just a midfield brawl with neither team really being able to handle possession, right? And honestly, Mexico had a much better second half and had a lot more of the ball, which I think more shows the weakness of Ecuador's midfield in general. And so honestly, I think the ref did okay. He didn't do anything controversial. Nothing controversial.
Let's look at the coaching then. The next topic for Mexico, coaching. Guys, where do you stand on coaching? Jimmy Lozano, is he in or is he out? Let's do a poll. Jimmy Lozano, is he in or is he out? Is it time to get rid of Jimmy Lozano? Honestly, knowing how this Mexican team is, did we expect anything else, honestly? Did we underachieve? Is it time for Jimmy Lozano to go? And if he's to go, who replaces Jimmy Lozano? You guys know my pick. I've always wanted Matias Almeida. I would love to see him coach his national team, but let me know what you guys think because we're in a really interesting time right now because it's not like the USA who's been with Berhalter for a really long time. We've only had him a couple years, bro, if that. Right. So it's not that long that he's been coaching the team. Do we back him for the World Cup or do we start a whole new process with a new coach? What do you guys think, man? We need Ancelotti, says Alex. That would be the dream, bro. Zizou would be incredible as well, man. Completely agree. 75% says yes, he needs to go. 25% says no. I guess I agree with that too. Ultimately, I think I'm out on Jimmy Lozano because the one thing he has control of is that starting lineup. The one thing he has control of is the subs. And I constantly see myself criticizing his decisions when it comes to before the match, setting up the team for success, and then during the game, making some very questionable decision making that I think then gets exposed at the 60th, 70th minute of each match because he ends up subbing in 5 different guys, bro, and just bringing everybody off of the bench. If he had gotten that starting lineup right, we wouldn't see him have to resort to that. So I think I'm out on Jimmy personally, but I also understand the other perspective of who else is there really out there to replace him because the coaching market can be really dry.
And not only that, our biggest gripe on Mexico isn't necessarily the coaching. It's just the natural quality of the players. So
that's another point.
To ask any coach to come into this situation and ask for a miracle it's low-key impossible. So, you get rid of Lozano, but what other coach can really fix this? I like the idea of the starting selection, right? There's got to be a better coach out there who can try to get the starting 11 of Mexico clicking better. But other than that, I just don't think there'll be a massive change if you bring in a new coach.
Let's talk about players. I want to hit on every big topic from Mexico. Players. How did the team perform? Who was the worst player today? Who was our best player today? Let me know in the chat because I think there's a lot to dissect from the performances we saw today. Santi played all 90 minutes this time. Memo had another really good appearance, I think, in my opinion. Antuna got some minutes. Chino Huerta starting the game. Romo was active. Quiñones as well. What did you guys think? Ultimately, Q Vezo says they all suck. I mean, you can definitely say that as well. Arteaga with a really harsh injury at the end of the day. God, Lord, man, that looked painful. Offensively, though, I think for as much as these players tried, they just could not figure out how to break the Ecuadorian defense ultimately, and just couldn't get we really couldn't get a dangerous opportunity on goal if we're being honest.
Yeah. What's interesting about Mexico is if they just had better wingers, truly, like wingers that were playing in Europe and had been there for a couple of years, I think the team would benefit greatly, actually, because there were several times, and they did it against Venezuela too, where Mexico are very good at actually crossing the ball. The problem is there's no receivers for Mexico. There's no true talent in the front three, and Santi included, which is very unfortunate. So the midfield and defense is actually pretty good for Mexico. It's just that front three, man. And so the issue is there's no real solution because it's just the quality of the players.
It's the quality, man,
Yeah.
and that's the most depressing part. What did you guys think about the subs? The subs with Cortizo got minutes in this game.
Cortizo finally got minutes?
He finally got minutes. We saw what it took for Cortizo to get minutes in this game. Antuna coming in. I mean, let's read some comments. Let me see what you guys are saying because I'm loving the activity in the chat. Notorious Ravens fan says, Santi failed Mexico once again. The pressure to be that guy seemed to be too much, and he is a no-show in moments when they need him to be there. I think today he wasn't as bad as he was against Venezuela, but if you look at his overall tournament, then absolutely.
Yeah.
What was expected for him at the Copa America, he did not deliver over these 3 games in the way that we would hope he would. But obviously there's also good points of, not getting enough service, not getting enough help offensively as well. I mean, if anything, who was our best player this tournament? Who ends up being our best player?
Honestly, I would say Arteaga or maybe Montes.
Yeah. The defenders. It has to be a defensive player.
They were great, actually. Yeah. They were very, very good.
Yeah. And then, dude, also it sucks just not having Edson Alvarez here.
We can't
forget that.
Yeah.
We can't forget
that.
Literally our best player right there.
Yeah.
Can't forget that. He's just not here. Every time they panned over to him in the crowd, I just got depressed, man. One of the worst things to see was Edson just in the stands because he's our best player, in my opinion. Chris Vergara says, as Mexican fans, we need to stop going to games here in the U.S. We need to hit the federation where it hits them the most, their pockets, then maybe change will come. Which brings me to my next point.
Completely agree. Just want to get that in. Sorry.
That'd be crazy. But that'd be crazy though to see these Mexican fans, the way they show out for the games, to actually commit to essentially boycotting the team.
Crazy.
I just don't see that happening, man. Mexicans love going to games and drinking and getting fucked up, bro.
Yeah, I know, it's fun.
One of the most beautiful things in life.
And that's the thing. I don't even blame them for that because it's a hell of a time to go to a Mexico game in Dallas. I understand that. I go every time they come here. The problem is it doesn't cause change in the federation because if money is the main driver of the world, then nothing changes, right? Mexico get grouped, but you have a friendly in September in, California. Mexico still make money. So is there really losses here for the federation? Technically, no. On the pitch, yes.
So that's why it brings me to my next question is, what do the next 2 years look like for us? What the hell do we do? Like, as fans, what should we hope for genuinely going into the 2026 World Cup? Because we just got grouped at the Copa America. And now we're going to be at a World Cup with even better teams at that tournament. So I'm a little scared about what's going to happen now that I've seen how we performed here in the States with the home crowd advantage as well against weaker teams and still weren't able to get out of the group. I understand there's a new format as well for the World Cup, but regardless, how the hell do we fix this going into the World Cup? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? For the next 2 years, what should Mexico look to do to at least see ourselves improve upon this performance?
I don't know. I just want to see a complete shift in the federation. Get a really good coach. I know a lot of people are saying, like, for example, Almada. You're saying Almeida. I think those two would be really good options. But when you do get them, do it with full confidence. Be like, all right, this is going to be our coach for the World Cup. We have 2 years of preparation. We're putting all of everything we believe in this guy. And I hope that the coach himself takes the opportunity to be like, all right, we got to change things up, change the starting 11, pick out your best players. The defense and Edson Alvarez, I think, are great. I think someone like Roma has to change, Pineda has to change. Santi's going to be a really interesting situation. I just want to see a coach come in with a lot of confidence because I think at the end of the day, that's the only thing you can do given that the quality of players can't change overnight.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, man. I'm sorry. I'm in my field, bro. I'm not really even focused right now.
That's the thing.
I'll be
like,
honest, man. I'm a little disappointed.
It's tough. It's
Scroll down for me, producer Rudd. I got a great comment here. I think I saw from a couple of people in the chat. We got some great comments. Don't worry, Soltero, Reynoso will join you tomorrow. I think he means that reverse. Don't worry, Reynoso, Soltero will join you tomorrow. I'm telling y'all, send the under 23 team. So maybe start going more young when it comes to our lineups and our players. We are cooked, says Johnny. Mexico needs to send their players to Europe and actually develop their players. They also need to stop starting the players that are in bad form. That's facts.
Agree.
That's facts. That's 100% facts.
Yeah, and that's the issue with the Mexican Federation is that they treat Liga MX as if it is the Premier League. They treat it as like final.
It's a crazy sentence.
Yeah,
that's a crazy sentence.
But they treat it as a league that is a final destination for players, and you can't have that mentality if you want to develop your youth.
I like that. I think that is the method here. Let's just go young with it. Let's go young with it. Let's see who's good coming up and just do the most that we can with that talent. I agree. Let's look at some super chats. We got some super chats from the Give and Go family. What are you guys saying? Let it out. Let us know. We got a lot of chats here, so let's get through them. AP408 doing my signature. Hello, super chat. Thank you, my friend. Fernando Cruz says, if only Pineda had made that penalty, we would be through. Bro, that's a great point.
It's kind of
crazy.
crazy.
We saw another comment that you pointed out.
Yeah.
Pineda's missed penalty cost the federations millions if you look at it in the broad sense of it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, even though they wouldn't win, an Argentina-Mexico match would have been nuts.
Yeah, because we get that draw against Venezuela, and then we only need a draw against Ecuador. I think we get that draw today.
I think so.
Seeing how Ecuador plays today, we get that draw.
So.
Mateo Pegasus says, Ecuador played it smart. Mexico's still living off of that Lozano goal, the Chucky Lozano goal. It's crazy how it takes USA missing one World Cup to step up, and Mexico doesn't get it right after performances like this. That's definitely something I'll highlight about the USA that I like, is that their response to missing the World Cup was incredible. The way they went about sending players over to Europe and developing their talent is just so different from Mexico. That's the scary thing. I don't really see a solution for us seeing the systems in place that we have right now. That's my concern with Mexico, is how the hell do we bounce back from this? If anything, I think we might just get the same thing over and over again, bro.
Yeah, that is true. The MLS has done a great job of developing the youth, and when they're good enough, put them on a platform to get sold to Europe. Mexico doesn't do that.
Alberto Cadena says, I'm glad it happened now. We were going to get embarrassed by Argentina. Shout out, producer Rudd. That's an interesting point of view. That's an interesting point, because I was thinking about that too.
Okay.
I was like, do I want to get killed by Argentina, you know, with even more people watching? Or is this a better way to go out? I don't know, man. I think both are pretty embarrassing, I'm be honest. One's getting grouped, the other one's getting killed by Argentina. So I think ultimately I don't really care, man. I wanted to see us go through to the quarterfinals just for the atmosphere, just for the stage, and see Argentina prove themselves and defeat Mexico. That's all I wanted to see. IRVLOZ says, no, Jimmy Lozano should stay. I feel that this team is way better than the World Cup Qatar team. Sorry for insulting you that last time. Ecuador was just there to hold the zero. This is an interesting question. Let's do a poll. 2024 Mexico or 2022 Mexico? Which is the better side? Did we put in a better performance at the World Cup where we got grouped? Or is this Copa America team that we've seen 2 years since then the better team? Or are they both just equally mid? 2024 versus 2022. I think 2022.
Yeah.
I think 2022. We played a good match against Argentina.
Yeah.
The performance against Saudi Arabia, I think, was really good. Luis Chavez was actually really informed during that tournament.
True, yeah.
We haven't seen that from it. We had a healthy Edson Alvarez. And we still had just fragments of what remained of our golden generation, or just one of our better generations. True. So I'm not saying that team was good, though. I'm just saying in comparison to 2024, I'd rather go 2022 Mexico all day, man. At least they showed a little bit more creativity, honestly.
Yeah.
River says, we always hear Mexico is a potential superpower in world economy. Same in football. And we will never see this happen. They say that about us in an economy?
I think Mexico's low-key on a rise economically, right now, yeah. So, I mean, the country's doing well.
Oh, shit, that's good, man. Yeah, travel and shit. I could definitely see that perspective. Well, that's good from Mexico. We got some more super chats here, and the poll has Mexico 2022 winning versus Mexico 2024. I agree with you guys completely. Completely, man. What else do we have? We have Abraham saying, Mexico going through coaches like my ex went through men during our relationship. Hold up. I need to reread that shit. We need to reread that shit. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Goddamn.
Hold on. We need to reread. Mexico going through coaches like my ex went through men during our relationship. During our relationship is crazy, bro. That girl was pulling a give and go on you during your fucking relationship, man. That's nuts, dude. You were getting ghosted out there. That's nuts, bro. That's crazy, man. But that's exactly what Mexico's doing, man. We're just rotating these coaches out, bro. That girl had a roster, man. That girl had a roster, bro. I hope, and I'm happy to hear that's your ex now. I'm happy to hear that's your ex now, man. Because, damn, in a classic Mexican way, I thought you might have stayed. You know, we might have stayed in the mud like we're seeing this Mexican national team do. Wolf King 32 says, Santi right now is saying to himself, F this team. Take me back to Feyenoord. Bro, that's what I've been saying. We have to shake him up a little bit before every game and just convince him that he is in the Netherlands, that he is not in North America, and maybe then he'll perform better because the way he balls out for Feyenoord is completely different. I will not be surprised if he does the same this upcoming year for them. It's just crazy how drastic his performances are for Feyenoord and for Mexico. Bvart says, going to be at the Brazil versus Colombia game. Shout out, bro.
Dude, that's going to be fun. Have fun, bro.
Shout out. We're going to be at the Paraguay versus Costa Rica game at Q2 Stadium on July 2nd. We'll be there. Let us know in the chat if you're going to be there. Will says, I hate how dead we look. I hate how we see how dead we are offensively, and we make no changes until it's too late, and you have to be perfect at that point. No real match rhythm. Dude, that's 100% right, dude.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying. The subs at the 60th, 70th minute, the fact he does more than 3 every single time frustrates me so much, bro, because why can't he get it right to start? It's always in the second half and late into the match when we finally wake up. So I completely agree. Tony Tone says, as a Mexico fan, I'm glad this team is out. The players and Jimmy are terrible. That's completely true. Luis Torres says, when we needed him most, Lamine Tamal was nowhere to be found. Lamine Tamal, the next player coming up from Mexico. Lamine Tamal. Leo Flores, Huerta today reminded me that there's still passion. Yeah, the thing about Huerta is he's a little bit like a Federico Chiesa. He's a bit of a passion merchant at times, and I wish I could see a little bit more end product from him. He was active today, though. He had energy, and I like seeing that, and he was tracking back. I also like that as well. But you know, up top, I definitely want to see him have his moments for the national team. I don't think we've seen that yet fully, where he's like feeding players and scoring goals for us. He hasn't done that yet outside of be a passion merchant, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's most of Liga MX quality. Like, you could say the same thing about Antuna. You could say the same thing about Quiñones. Their activity this tournament has been great, honestly. The end product is not there, though.
Reynoso, get your cousin, bro. DFO, I'm not going to read that comment, DFO. I don't know what you're thinking. I'm not reading that shit, bro. I am not reading that. I'm not saying that. I'm not letting those words come out of my mouth. I'm not reading that. Please. I'm moving on, DFO. Please. Hey, DFO, come on the pod. DFO, come on the pod and we'll do it in person. I'll say it and read it in person. I'm not reading those words, dude. You're crazy. Cynthia Ambario says, can we talk about Huerta? He gave heart, reminding me of 2010 Mexico. It is pretty crazy how just one player showing that much emotion resonates with the people, because that's what we're looking for, is a group, a team of players that can give that energy, because we don't get it from any other players, bro, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
We don't get it from any, but everyone's pointing that out, man. Everyone's pointing that out. And it's crazy because I'm saying that he didn't have many good moments truly in this match. That header that he had in the first half, that should have been better. But I think the energy and passion goes a long way for Mexico fans, because we're missing that completely. Captain Crunch Guy says, no more extranjeros en Liga MX, more cantaneros, please. Carlos Colunga Navarro says, I missed the celebration for 100K. Congrats. When we had 2 strikers, we did better at the end. Almada should be the one. He took an average Pachuca to a title. Yeah, Almada? Almada could be a good shout.
That was a good shout. He's been coaching in Liga MX for a while now, and he's always done very well. So it's a good shout, but I just don't know if it'll give him what the people want.
I feel like I'm working Mexicans through therapy right now, looking at these super chats.
Yeah, just keep going.
Everyone's just letting it all out. Joaquin Tinoco says, after Mexico's disappointment and USA probably losing tomorrow, I'm searching for new nationality. Any Argentine or Colombian girl in the chat, folks. Let's set my boy up. Let's set up my boy Joaquin. If we got an Argentine or Colombian girl, and fuck it, if we got a South American woman in the chat right now,
hey, low-key Venezuelan.
They're
hot right now. 9 points for Venezuela.
Venezuelan.
Nuts.
We'll talk about Venezuela. Chat, let us know. If you got a South American woman in the chat right now, say something. Speak up. Show your face. Say something, because my boy Joaquin, we want to hook him up, and that's something that we do here on the channel. We hook our boys up. We also do relationship advice, so don't feel free to send us your relationship troubles. All right? We're here to help out. On to the next super chat. We have Luis Colon saying, if the Federation of Mexico was serious, Almada would have been the coach already. He is the only one who could get the most out of Chavez, our young talent, and could have Jimenez playing like current Salomon Rondon. I mean, that sounds like a dream.
You know, it is crazy that Mexico, for as big as they are considered internationally, they've gone with basically a youth coach. Crazy. If you think about like all the teams out there, even in Asia, they try to get European coaches. They try to get coaches who have done it before to some degree. Mexico went in the exact opposite direction, which I think kind of shows you where their heads are at.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get cheeky with.
They're
that
trying to get
selection,
cheeky with
man.
it.
They
yeah.
were, and I just don't think it paid out ultimately.
No.
I wonder how Chimmy would have done if he just stayed coaching those younger teams. I think that's what best suits him, honestly. Adan Guzman Valdez says, disappointed game, but congrats to Venezuela and Ecuador. Now cheering the remaining CONCACAF teams, which are Panama, USA, Canada, and Costa Rica as of right now in this moment. Jay Patel says, pouring one out for Reynoso. Is Santi Lukaku is Santi the Lukaku of Copa America? Let me think some players that have been missing a lot of opportunities. Let me think.
I just wish Santi got more opportunities in general.
Yeah,
man.
he
That's
hasn't had
it.
enough. I'm thinking if there's someone that I'm missing right now. I don't know. I wonder who's the Lukaku of Copa America, guys. Let me know in the chat. Who's the Lukaku of Copa America? The Federation of Mexico won't change, says Marco Carmona. Depressing, man. Captain Crunch Guy says, blame the Liga MX teams in Mexico. They don't give these young players enough playing time. We need to go back to Libertadores. No more CONCACAF. Do y'all remember when we were in Libertadores, bro? And we were playing up to the level of top South American teams? I feel like that really fed into the greatness of the Mexican teams at the time as well. And now we don't have that, man. We just don't have that anymore. And it's really disappointing. Like, I don't know what it is about our league that has made us so one-dimensional now, but there was a time where we were going up against the best teams in the Americas and actually beating them when we got several club teams to finals in Copa America and Copa Libertadores, and we saw Mexico play really well internationally too during that time. We don't have that anymore, man. We just don't have that. Mr. Money says, hope Mexico play New Zealand on Matchday 1 at the World Cup 2026. Shit, at this point, I think that'd be a close match, bro.
Is that a good or bad thing? Because New Zealand low-key on the rise.
New Zealand's looking good, bro. Ideal lineup for the U.S. men's national team game. Christian Pulisic, save us. Real quick, ideal lineup because Tim Weah's out. I saw Marco Bielsa won't be able to coach on the sideline. He's suspended.
Out, yeah.
And then Matt Turner might be injured as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could get interesting because maybe you could put Reina out in the wing for Weah's position, and then you bring in Johnny Cardoso in that midfield position for Reina. I'd like to see that. Otherwise, if you want to just go like for like, I saw Josh Sargent get minutes in the last match. If he truly is healthy, I'd like to see him start.
Yeah. Ala Madrid says, you remember when I said that Venezuela would make it to the semis of the Copa America? You guys said it was not happening under any circumstances. Well, how is that prediction going? Oh, that prediction's going terrible, my friend. It's going terrible. Now happily admit it because Venezuela right now got 9 points out of their group. 3 straight victories. Just spanked Jamaica and now has a favorable matchup against Canada where they were predicted to potentially go up against Argentina. Now they're playing Canada. And they could definitely go to the semifinals.
Yeah, I think they're favored as well. I think they have the edge over this Canadian side, though I do see it being a close match.
Damn, man, guys, let's do some predictions here because Ecuador is facing off against Argentina. What's the poll prediction here? Ecuador versus Argentina. That's a quarterfinal matchup. That's what Ecuador receives as a reward after drawing against Mexico. Ecuador against Argentina. Who wins that match? I think pretty easily it's going to be Argentina, bro. It's going to be Argentina. My question is, does Ecuador even manage to get a goal in this game, seeing that Argentina has the best defense in this tournament and Ecuador has a very questionable offense from what we've seen?
Yeah, there's zero chance for Ecuador. And it sucks saying because I thought going into the tournament there'd be something, but Ecuador honestly have been average.
Yeah.
Average.
So we'll end that poll early. 87% Argentina, 13% Ecuador. Next one is Venezuela-Canada. Venezuela-Canada is interesting. Venezuela-Canada is very, very interesting. Venezuela topping their group, 3 straight victories, 9 points. And Canada, so far, being the only CONCACAF team to go through. We still have yet to see the USA or Panama, maybe even Costa Rica. Actually, I don't even know if they're able to qualify through anymore. But I want to know, who do you guys have winning between Venezuela and Canada? Does Canada represent CONCACAF the best at this tournament and get a victory here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going Venezuela to get the win here. But one thing Canada could do is just utilize their raw talent. The problem is it hasn't just really worked so far in this group. It's taken very few moments for Canada to actually get their goals, and they haven't really taken them well. Whereas Venezuela are just, they are working out there. They are so in sync defensively and offensively. Venezuela are also playing the better football in general. I just see that team as more balanced. Canada are good, but I just think they're too raw right now. They need more time under Jesse Marsch.
Yeah, I think so too. I like this Venezuelan team, man. I really do. And the performances that we've been seeing from them has been amazing. And Salomon Rondon getting on the board today as well, filling out Q2 Stadium, all the Venezuelans in attendance. I think this is a really good story. And this is the first time, I think, in their history where they top a group with 9 points. So this is a new moment for Venezuela. I would love to see them get a result. But I'm also not going to underestimate the Canadian physicality that we've seen and ability to match up against South American teams. Yeah. I just wonder, can they really beat a team if they only have 10 players? That's my only question. I want to see if they can do it against an 11-man team with no red cards. Venezuela at 59%, Canada at 41%. Here's a fun question I have for you guys now that we've kind of covered the Mexico, Ecuador, Venezuela, Jamaica talk. If you could bring back one Mexican player to have some sort of impact for this national team, who would you guys bring? I want to hear the nominees. One Mexican player to bring back to this team from any generation. You get him in his prime, by the way. In his prime. And he gives us 3 years. 3 years of greatness. Who do you bring? Is it a defensive player? Is it a forward? Is it a midfielder? Fuck it. You can even bring a coach if you want. You can bring a coach. Okay?
Let's see what people...
Pretty impressed to be seeing a lot of Hector Herrera shouts because... I always felt that he was an underrated midfielder for Mexico in his prime, but he seems to be getting his credit. Memo Ochoa, Guardado, Hugo Sanchez, Rafa Marquez.
A lot of Rafa.
I think it's because of that leadership aspect.
Yeah,
I think it's the leadership aspect.
And honestly, we saw it at 2014 World Cup. It was massive for Mexico.
I got to think about this one, though. I think I'd bring an offensive player.
Yeah, I like Chris Vergara saying prime Carlos Vela. Prime Carlos Vela could do anything. He could do anything, bro.
Prime Carlos Vela was truly incredible, especially if you could throw in some passion and that love for the game that he always kind of seemed to be missing. Bro, he had the playmaking creativity that was needed for this team. He could finish. He could pass. He was good up front, bro. He really was. And that tandem of him and Chicharito, and at one point a really good Giovanni Dos Santos was something that brings a tear to my eye, man. Neri Castillo getting a shout. That's a good shout right there. Ramoncito Morales. Oof. Ramoncito Morales would be incredible on this team, giving us solidity in the midfield. Why pick a goalkeeper? I agree. I see some people saying Ochoa. I'm not picking a goalkeeper, bro. I'm not picking a goalkeeper. Rafa Marquez, I think, is a really good shout because Mexico's greatest defender, possibly one of our greatest players of all time, unless you're an Hugo Sanchez fan. Yeah. But his leadership, captaining the team, and his ability to score goals off of set pieces, just so good. So good. Salcido getting a shout too.
Max Alberto and Ant-Man saying Gulit Peña. Big shout, ex-Leon.
I'm good on that, bro. I'm good on that,
Hey,
bro.
man, for 2 years, he was one of the best Mexican midfielders.
That's true. Okay, true. We'd only get him for 2 to 3 years.
Prime Peña.
I can maybe be sold on it. Omar Bravo. Oh, man. Omar Bravo is such a baller, bro. Such a baller. El Hermoso. Picolín Palacios. Marco Fabian. Prime Marco Fabian?
Now we're just saying any Mexican player. Okay.
El Conejo Perez, bro. El Conejo Perez, man. I'll bring anybody at this point, dude. God damn, Bofo Bautista. You're right. Now the question's getting out of hand now. But folks, what else do we have to talk about here regarding Mexico or Ecuador or any of these teams? Any other statements you have on these teams and these games we saw today? Because we got the results and they're pretty straightforward.
Just one quick comment on Jamaica, since we haven't really said anything about them. Although they do finish bottom of this group, I'm actually satisfied with their performances, specifically the ones against Ecuador and Mexico. I thought they were great. They were a little unlucky, I think, in both games, though I thought Ecuador and Mexico were better at the end of the day. But overall, this is the type of progress I want to see from Jamaica. Actually go up against these type of teams and compete right head on. And I think Jamaica did a great job at that in this tournament. This is a really good step for them. And now hopefully they can take the World Cup qualification cycle with this type of energy, because they play like they did in this Copa. They should be able to get to the World Cup, which will be huge.
What would you grade their Copa America experience then? What would you grade it?
Let's go maybe B.
B?
Yeah.
No?
And I know they finished bottom of the group, right? But I don't want to be that harsh because I thought they played some really good football against, for them, very tough opponents.
Jamaica out. Guys, how would you rate Mexico's overall performance at this tournament? Grade it on a scale of A to F. Let's grade Mexico's performance. What is it? Is it an F? Is getting group an F when we kind of expected this? Is it more so D plus? I'm in like the C minus D plus range. That's where I'm at. I'm in the C minus D plus range. I'm not going to go F because we mentioned this in the previews that they could potentially get group. That was always in the works for them.
Yeah,
always.
We technically got it right.
F minus, C's, D's, F's in the chat. F's turning into a funeral. Good Lord. Yeah. Let's look at some super chats. Let's keep talking some football. What else do we have from the folks at the Give and Go? We have Fernando Cruz saying, I don't know why we don't have faith in our youth players like Marcelo Flores, Jordan Carrillo, Fidel Ambriz, Lainez, etc., mixed with our current players like Chavez, Edson, Santi. I mean, bro, you're describing the dream for most Mexican fans here. That's what we want to see. Even if they disappoint, I want to see that youth get integrated into his Mexican national team. So Marcelo Flores not getting any minutes at this tournament, I think is concerning. Fidel Ambriz, I don't think even got called up. Lainez, I think, got injured. Jordan Carrillo is an interesting player playing in Spain, I believe. I would love to see just these players get more appearances for the national team. We don't get that, bro. We really don't get that.
That actually is a great point, too, because Mexico have now been grouped 2 major tournaments in a row, yet we're basically using the exact same players, right? Minus some golden generation players that have just naturally gone out of the team. So the coaches just keep making the same mistakes. That's why I hope the new coach tries to do something like that, integrate some new talent.
Chat, let me know in the chat because I want to see what you guys think. Who should be the next player that gets an appearance for a national team that hasn't gotten one yet? Like, what's a youngster? Who's a player coming to the ranks that you want to see get appearances for this team? I've always been a Marcel Ruiz fan. I've always wanted to see him get a real good opportunity at the national team. But you guys let me know, who do you think outside of Hugo Weckman? We will ban anybody who says the words Hugo Weckman in the chat. I will ban that. I will get producer Red to ban anybody who says Hugo motherfucking Weckman. I do not want to hear from this guy. Marcel Ruiz getting a shout in there. Shout out myself, says Marco Galliano. I mean, at this point, that's how bad the situation has gotten. I'm relying on a dude from YouTube to carry this national team. Good Lord. Antonio Portales, I need to look him up. Marcelo Flores, Sebastián Córdoba.
Montalvo saying any one of the subs they didn't even play. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, Reynoso, I'll come in, bro. Dupuy Martinez.
Dupuy, yeah. That would have been cool to see.
Yeah. Omar Govea. A young producer Rub would go crazy. Hell no, it wouldn't, bro. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. My tío, Paco Memo. Let's go back to Super Chats. Y'all are crazy, bro. I'm not looking up Hugo Weckman. I refuse, bro. I refuse. We have another Super Chat here from Captain Crunch Guy. Imagine if our tíos never messed up their knees. Bro, imagine that, man. Imagine.
That'd be fun.
Damn, the fantasy.
Yeah,
that's the fantasy. Imagine what could have been.
Third division.
Third
division football.
Marco Carmona says, I just don't think Jimenez is the answer. I'm scared to accept that. Not yet. I can't do that yet. He's still very young. He needs better players around him. I'm not saying that he isn't the answer. I just think that he, as well as the offense, needs to have a major improvement mentally and creatively to be able to have an impact on the international stage. I'm not going to give up on Jimenez. I am disappointed, though. I'm definitely disappointed in his Copa America that we saw so far. Luis Torres says, afterwards this exit, tequila is needed. Guys, W's in the chat if you're drinking tequila tonight. Let me know. W's in the chat if you're drinking tequila. Drunken Ramblings with, I believe it's Aaron, want U.S. to do a 4-2-3-1 with Scally, Richards, Ream, A-Rob, Musa, McKinney, Pulisic, left, Haji, right, Reyna in the middle, Ballo up front, Johnny and Adams come in as subs. Soltero, your thoughts?
No, I like that. You put in Haji as a replacement for Weah. I think that works. Haji seems to have really good chemistries with the U.S. Midfield in general. I like Haji right as a player for the USA. So, yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I would like to see him get minutes, man, honestly. Let's go down for me, please. Luis Colon says, up one, please. Luis Colon. Oh, we already read that one. All right, cool. Saint G Film says, lost the bet. Got to shave with no water. Pray for me.
shit, man.
Hold on.
Make sure it's the sharpest razor you have.
Hold on, bro. Hold up. So you bet that Mexico would win, probably?
Probably, yeah.
Mexico loses. So some Ecuadorian app there is happy for this because the bet was that you had to shave with no water if Mexico lost. Bro, that's crazy.
I'm hoping
no water?
he has to just shave his face too, by the way, because any other part of the body would be brutal, bro.
Bro, that's crazy. That's a good punishment, though. That's a good punishment. Abraham says, if you could do one thing to better this team after today's result, no matter what it costs, what would it be? I want to translate that over to the chat. If you could do one thing to better this Mexican national team after today's result, no matter what it costs, what would it be? I guess it's develop the youth academies, like we mentioned. Develop our young talent. I think it's that simple. Develop the young talent so we have something hopeful, some potential to look forward to in the future of Mexico's international game. I think that's honestly the only thing that we can hope for. Bevart says, Mexico shouldn't get another Mexican coach.
I agree.
Damn. I mean, there's no one out there.
I agree.
There's no one out there unless we're talking about Javier Aguirre going back at it again, running it back with Mexico. But dude's old, and I don't think he wants to coach Mexico again. Cristiano Ochoa says, how are we supposed to know if the kids are any good if we don't play them? We should have just sent the U23 team to play. Bring back Blanco. Blanco as in Cuauhtémoc Blanco? What are you talking about?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, what are you talking about? But yeah, I agree with that. Soccer guy. Are people switching from Mexico to USA? Fuck it. Let's go.
Fuck it, y'all. Just join the USA for one time tomorrow. We're going to need the help.
Y'all are accepting applications and shit?
Absolutely, man. We're all inclusive. It's the USA. Immigrants welcome at all times.
Very inclusive. We'll see, bro. We'll see, because the chat was crazy last time, man. I would love to see you in the USA shut the chat up with the victory.
Fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
It's a big ask, my friend.
It's a big ask. Don't get me wrong.
Christopher Molina says, unleash the German Mexican beast, Hugo Weckman. Next super chat, please. Eduardo Vaz says, Soltero, how are we feeling about USA tomorrow? I need you to calm my nerves because I am worried. I love watching y'all streams.
I won't be able to calm you down, man, because I am also very, very nervous. But it's a very positive nervousness that I have because this is what football is all about. Changing narratives. The USA have a massive opportunity to basically prove a lot of people wrong tomorrow. The thing is, I do think that they have the ability and the quality to actually pull off a win against Uruguay. So we're going to need your support, brother. We need everyone's support. Let's fucking go USA.
Here's an interesting question. What happens if you guys defeat Uruguay but still don't go through because Panama defeats Bolivia and you end up in third with 6 points?
Yeah, obviously I'll be devastated.
What's the takeaway there?
I'll be devastated because at the end of the day, the USA gets grouped. But I'll have a small morsel of hope knowing that, we can beat Uruguay.
Yeah. The talent is just not there. Not a coaching problem for Mexico anymore, says OG. Until we can get our youth playing abroad, we will continue to be grouped.
Spot on.
Damn.
Spot on.
Let's move on. Good Lord. OG Queen says, put Dani Paola as manager of the men's national team. Bro, I'm drunk.
Who's Dana Paola?
Dana Paola, bro.
We gotta
We're just throwing up random names now. Is that a real person? IRVLOZ says, I want Colombia to win. I'm done rooting for Mexico. Mexicans in the chat, let me know who you're rooting for now that this tournament is done for us. Who are you rooting for? I'm probably going to become Colombian. I think I'm going to become Colombian.
They're so fun to cheer for right now, man. They're playing great football.
Yeah, I might go Colombia. I might go Uruguay. And even Venezuela for the love and the passion that they showed in that match against Mexico. I might even go Venezuela. But for me personally, Colombia. I'm seeing, like I say, Brazil. I'm seeing Brazil in the chat. I'm seeing Columbine. I'm seeing Uruguay. I'm seeing Panama, Uruguay, Brazil. Uruguay, says Chris Vergara. I'm rooting for any CONCACAF team. That's a good one, too. Colombia, Canada, Uruguay, USA, Canada. I like this. I mean, I'm not going USA, though. I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to switch on over to USA for the entirety of the tournament. Maybe tomorrow, though. You might get me tomorrow.
I'll take that.
How many pages you writing if the USA gets grouped?
Yeah, no, definitely want to have some sort of accountability on this channel. That's, what we're known for. And I always want to make sure that if I get a take horribly wrong, there's got to be some sort of repercussion. So I don't think an apology would make sense because who would I really be apologizing to?
A punishment.
There's got to be something.
Yeah,
and I'll talk with Reynoso and see what we should do because I agree. There's got to be something if the USA gets grouped.
Then we'll talk about that on the USA stream.
It'll be tomorrow.
If they get grouped. If they get grouped, I want all of y'all to return to the live stream tomorrow to help us decide what is Soltero's punishment going to be for what would be one of his worst takes of all time if the USA gets grouped.
Indeed.
They win. Oh, man. Oh, man. The reward there is amazing. Angel Rodriguez says, love Mexico, but as a Mexican-American, I will root for the USA. Fair enough,
There we go, man.
Fair
Come
enough.
on.
Fair play.
I'd love to hear that.
Fair play. Argentina versus Colombian final would be fire.
It would be fire.
That's what I predicted in our Copa America preview. I predicted Colombia-Argentina final. I think that's the best one right now regarding talent, quality, and form. Colombia would be undefeated by that point, assuming they tie or defeat Brazil tomorrow. Going to the final, man, they'd be like on a damn near 30-game winning streak against the defending champions of the World Cup and the Copa America in the USA.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be a great game.
that'd be a crazy game.
That'd be a great game.
Let's do a fun poll here. Who would win between Colombia and Argentina in the final? Let's just do that. Let's just fantasize for a little bit. Let's fantasize. Who wins in a Colombia-Argentina Copa America final? Is it still Argentina going based off of just what we've seen so far? Or could Colombia be the one team that can take down this Argentine side in a major tournament since like 2019 or some bullshit, bro?
Dude. That'd be a lit final. Just the narratives of it. And the thing is, if Colombia make it, I'd give them a good shout to win it. I really would.
I would too, bro. I would too. The form and the atmosphere would be crazy.
It'd be crazy, bro.
I even wonder what fan base would be more in attendance at that game? From what we've seen, both of them have shown out.
You're right.
Would it really be 50-50 or like, I don't know, man. Like, do we see Argentines take over in that match? Colombia winning at 53%, bro. That's so close. That is so close. That's crazy. That is so close. Argentina at 48. Man, I really do think it's that close, though. I do, if that ends up being the final. And that's my preferred final, although I wouldn't be surprised if Uruguay or Brazil somehow find to make it that deep into the tournament. Do we have any more super chats here? Any more super chats? We got Victor Teran saying, what do you think Ecuador should do with FSB? His formation made Mexico control the midfield, and I honestly believe he is holding this generation back. I think he's regarding to Felix Sanchez.
Great take, because not only against Mexico, but against Jamaica too. Jamaica's midfield for 30 to 40 minutes in their match took over the midfield from a possession standpoint. Ecuador have a serious midfield problem right now, and I do believe it is because of Felix's tactics. Right now, he has Kendry Páez way too far up. And then from the wing perspective, they're just not producing, bro. Sarmiento, he gets on the ball a lot, but he doesn't really do anything with it. And the same thing can be said about Kevin Rodriguez or John Yoboa, whoever ends up starting out on the right wing. So right now, it would work for Ecuador if their wings were a lot more effective, but with ineffective wings and no midfield, Ecuador virtually have no offense, and it's because of that idea of Kendry Páez being way too far up. Caicedo has to do all of the defending, and then for me, Alan Franco, while he is a talented midfielder, he's basically just another Kendry Páez, way too offensive-minded. You need more box-to-box type of midfielder to help control the game in the midfield. Felix isn't doing that, and and that's why I don't rate this Ecuadorian side right now, because they can't figure it out. They can't control a game from a possession standpoint.
Yeah, it seems like Sanchez is being too ambitious with his tactical setup instead of just playing to the strengths of each player, man. I mean, you have Caicedo in the middle of the park, utilize his talents and his strengths to dominate the midfield. You're right, dude. When we saw that Jamaica game, like, they were against the wall in that match. And then from like the 40th minute forward in this game, Mexico's midfield took over, and it was crazy because it's what ultimately generated the opportunities that we had. Although we didn't finish, we were on the ball way more than Ecuador, and they had to resort to like basically bunkering in and playing off the counter. So I do think that's on Felix Sanchez, and it seems like we have an Ecuador fan in the chat saying that he believes that they should fire Felix Sanchez. If you scroll for me, producer Rudd, right there. As an Ecuadorian fan, this is not the same Ecuadorian team I saw in the World Cup. Felix Sanchez Bas needs to be out. Mexico was a better team today, and Ecuador's tactics and mentality was a shame.
Yeah, and
I agree.
That's why I'm so disappointed with Ecuador this whole Copa America. They're just not dynamic anymore, but it's because they're losing the midfield. And
I agree with this comment from Diego. If you scroll up, producer Rudd, we have Ecuador play a lame game. Se la pasaron gastando tiempo en el suelo. They did not play football today. No. But it's what I said at the very beginning of the stream. Shameful performance from Ecuador, bro. I'm a little embarrassed that they got the draw against us because we could have beat them today if we knew how to finish, and we just don't have that right now. So that's my frustrating thing with Mexico and with Ecuador. This Ecuadorian team, man, does not look good going into knockout stages, at least in comparison to what we thought would happen for them, bro.
Yeah.
at least what we thought what would happen for them. So we got another super chat here from the Give and Go folks. Y'all got me working today, folks. Y'all got me working today. Angel Bautista says, USA is so hard to support. They're so vanilla.
I don't think I like your fucking attitude, Angel. All right? Watch your mouth, bro. I need you. I need you cheering for the USA tomorrow, all right?
They're too vanilla, and I guess that does it for him. FIFA Rick says, Beckerman can fix Mexico like Colombia. I don't know, man. I think Beckerman's like Biden, dude. That's getting a little too old for me, man. Getting a little too old for me, bro. I'm be honest. And his prime, incredible. Beckerman, bro, you look at photos of him, he's looking old, man. He's looking old, and Venezuela gave him a shot, and they were in and out with him. And then whoever they brought in next was the man that took him to glory that we're seeing now.
That's the problem. I can't forgive Beckerman for what he did to Colombia in 2018. He removed their offensive pieces, and we saw them have a terrible World Cup. And then he went to Venezuela and did nothing. So I think Beckerman's done as a coach.
LRV Law says, guys, to wear them Colombia jerseys, forget USA. Oh, as a punishment. Okay, that'd be interesting. Mateo Pegasus says...
forget about the USA?
Just forget about him. Nah, just move on. Sarmiento is just a handsome man, nothing else. Dude, I don't like Sarmiento's game, bro. I don't.
It's just so selfish. Yeah, but the thing is, that's what Ecuador's problem is. Valencia too, man. Valencia, the entire offensive line of Ecuador do not pass.
Yeah.
There's way too much dribbling for Ecuador. It's very disappointing.
Ecuador missing Sebas Mendes, who plays in Spain, who held the midfield in the World Cup alongside Moises Caicedo, Alan Franco, is not good enough.
Yeah.
Nick Jara spitting that Ecuadorian ball knowledge right now. Good Lord. I'm saying it right now. Batista, Venezuela coach, is the coach of the tournament so far. Thoughts on this take? Oh, that's an interesting question. Let's ask the chat. Who is the coach of the tournament so far at the Copa America? Because we do have Venezuela overachieving, in my opinion, because although they are in a really good period right now, I think the results we've seen have been much better than what many people expected. So I would call it overachieving so far. But Bielsa is balling out with Uruguay right now. Bielsa is balling out with Uruguay, and you always have Scaloni with Argentina.
Personally, I would give it to Nestor Lorenzo for Colombia because every time he makes a change in the lineup, it's the right decision. Every time he makes a substitution, the player who comes on gives 110%. So he's doing something perfectly right with the entirety of that Colombian squad. So for me, given that Colombia are also still perfect with this insane unbeaten streak, it's got to be Nestor.
They beat Canada. I'll give them the title of best coach so far. If Venezuela beats Canada.
Okay, because that would be truly punching above their weight.
That'd be truly. Yeah. Colombia, I think we'll get a firm answer judging off their performance against Brazil tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
That's going to be a good one too. So I'm interested, but I like that question. Best coach at the Copa America so far, and Bielsa ball has also been incredible. Abraham says punishment is searching up Weckman on Google to see true greatness. That would be the ultimate punishment, bro, because I don't want to do that shit.
I'd like that because if Mexico and the USA get grouped, that'd be both of our punishments. I'd like that. But we'll come up with something else more specific to the USA.
I'm actually going to root for the USA now, man. Hit 44 says, not Copa related, but is Yamal the best right winger in the world? I'm trying to think, is there anybody better? Let's be honest. Is there anybody better right now in the world of football at right wing? I think he's definitely top 5, which is crazy to say about a 16-year-old. Crazy to say, but
I think I would take Yamal over Sane. I'd take him over Wirtz, but barely. Don't get me wrong. Sane and Wirtz are fantastic. Specifically Wirtz, he's had an insane season. Who else? Chiesa's not in great form right now. Croatians aren't working.
More of a right winger?
Rodrigo, okay. Well, no, I mean, he can kind of get out there, but he's not right wing like Yamal is.
Mo Salah,
okay.
Mo Salah.
I mean, low key,
Saka.
Saka's. I would say Saka, but he's having such a poor Euros, man.
I'm cool saying he's the best.
Low key, cool saying it right now.
I'm cool because right now when I watch Lamine Yamal, I have no idea what he's gonna do. Saka, I see limitations.
Yeah.
And it's very crazy how he's able to do that at such a young age. I think he is. I think he is the best in the world right now. If we're discounting Antuna and Piojo Alvarado. If we're not counting them, I think he's the best in the world. I think he's the best in the world. We got another super chat here. One final super chat from Northern Boy 973 who says, here to see the downfall of Mexico and USA in this tournament. That's an interesting perspective.
Where's Northern Boy from? Where are you from, Northern Boy? Where are you from, man?
That's true, though. Where are you from, bro? Because to be anti-USA and anti-Mexico, he's got to be South American.
Okay.
He's got to be South America.
I'm
bro.
cool with that.
Yeah, I would want him to be that because if he's like from Canada or some bullshit, bro, that'd be a little
you gotta
annoying.
support your CONCACAF
It'd be a
teams,
little
man.
annoying, bro. Let us know, man. Before we go, let us know if you can tell us in the chat, where are you from, my friend? Because how can you be anti-USA and anti-Mexico? That's always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are usually anti one of those teams. Guys, I think we're going to call it. It's been an incredible stream so far. I hope this was a good therapy session for all you Mexico fans and also a good show for everybody who watched the Mexico-Ecuador game as well as the Jamaica-Venezuela match. We have some exciting games coming tomorrow, and we didn't even do match previews, but I'll just tell you right now, Bolivia-Panama and then USA-Uruguay. We all know that you got USA winning.
Yeah.
I'm going to root for USA for one day. And then Bolivia-Panama, I want to see Panama ball out in that match.
I want to see it too. If you think Panama, for them, that they can get to the next round, they got to kill Bolivia. Make sure that they do their part. So I have Panama winning, and I hope they do it in style. Even though realistically, I hope they don't, so the USA has a better chance.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Get some good sleep tonight, folks. We got some big games, and we'll catch you guys soon. Peace.